Hey, this is Yang Nguyen, and you're listening to the Emmy Wealth Builder podcast, where we celebrate incredible immigrant success stories, share proven strategies, and give you actionable steps to build your wealth, freedom, and a lasting legacy. Let's go get it. Today, we have Marizol Mendez with us, and I'm super excited for you to hear her story about how she went from a W-2 to building a full-time real estate empire, how she get her family involved in her whole wealth building journey, and how she continued to build wealth while creating an impact. So Marisol, take us away. Introduce to the audience your journey to the US and how you get from the full-time W-2 and then moving on to real estate.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be here in this podcast, and I hope that my story can help and inspire other immigrants to the U.S. to actually live a better life, and that any goal or any dream is possible if you keep perseverance and don't give up. So my story started in a village in Mexico. I was born there. I grew up there until I was 12. I grew up without even running water, you guys. When I was 12, my father brought me here to the US with my two sisters and my mom. We came here without knowing the language or the culture, and I was just told to go to school and get an education, get a job, and all my dreams will become true. So I drank that Kool-Aid. I went to school to become a medical lab technician. And after a few years being a medical tech in a clinic, I was feeling really stressed and stuck because I thought I love to help people, but I think that there is something else more than just working in a clinic, in a 9-to-5 job. I didn't have financial freedom. But what is even worse is I didn't have time freedom. I didn't have time freedom to be there for my kids. I used to ask for my day off like a month or 2 months ahead to be able to get my day off, hopefully. So one day I went to the library and I heard a voice saying, get this book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I heard something that was going to change our lives. I brought it home, and thanks to the book, got many mentors. We have reached financial freedom. And now I love to help others to reach financial freedom also.
Awesome. So I love that you share that journey and how your desire to spend time with your family to create that time freedom really propel you forward to seek for that financial freedom to then have that time freedom. Connect the dot for us a little bit. So you mentioned you read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Understand the financial freedom is possible, right? Understand real estate investing is a good vehicle for that. How did you even get that first property? What was it and what did that look like?
Me and my husband, we read the book by Robert Kiyosaki. I feel like something changed in our minds. So we started listening to podcasts. We went to one of the seminars. And after that, we just started looking for properties. Back then, like over 10 years ago, it was really common to find properties through different options. So I started looking through options, calling agents, and suddenly we came across this property and we actually bet on the property and we got it accepted, which it was really scary. But I actually think that the first property is the most important one because I think that even though we remodeled the property and we sold the property, we didn't make that much money in the property. It gave us so many learning lessons. And not only that, it gave us the faith that it's possible.
Yeah, I love that. So remind me, you are based in Washington, right?
Yes, I am in Washington State, Moses Lake, Washington.
And was that where you started investing?
Yes, just because we think that it's really important, at least in our case, it was important to start investing in our backyard.
Yeah.
It was more easy.
Got it. So you start looking Zillow agents. Was it auction you said that was the first property? Tell us more of that experience.
It was through auction.com.
Okay.
We went in there and we signed in, and then we started bidding for properties. And to be honest, you guys, shame on me, but I was in a Sunday church bidding for properties. I was, let's
I
pay
love it.
5 more thousand.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, so you purchased your first property through auction.com. I'm sure it's very scary because a lot of auction properties overall, especially on a single family or residential side, you can't see the property before you purchase. Was that the case for this one, or did you actually get to see the property?
That was the case, but the house was vacant, so we went in there and we peeked through windows.
I love it. So then you guys rehab it, and then did you sold it as a flip?
We sold the property, but technically we didn't make money. I think that we just broke even. When we sold the property, I told my husband, let's go and celebrate. Then we sold the property, and he's like, but we didn't make any money. And I am like, but we're celebrating that we actually like did it. We're still together and we learned so much.
Yeah. That first property, right? It may not be a slam dunk. You broke even. That's a win. You got a lot of lessons through it. Also, I love that you shared that you asked your husband to go celebrate because you guys are still together after the first project, because that's real.
Well, I think it's difficult to work when you're husband of your wife when it's the first property, just because I didn't know my roles and he didn't know his roles. So we were trying to both figure out how to run a business, how to still run a family, how to have a job and still flip a house. So I
Yeah.
think that we had a couple of things to celebrate.
No, for sure. You guys had so much to celebrate, and I'm so happy that you guys did that. So you guys got the first property, broke even, learned a lot of lesson. We're still together, figuring out how to make this work. How did you then continue to grow and scale from that first project?
Well, once we were done with the first property, we continued looking for more properties. We found more properties to the MLS, and also we started doing direct marketing.
Okay. Sounds great. So then continue to do on market, right? There's still a lot of good deals on market, no matter what time of the year or what type of cycle you're in. There are good deals on the market. You just have to find your strategic way of making the numbers work. You mentioned that you guys were learning how to work together. How did that role evolve as you guys grow? What is the area that you focus on now? And what is your area that your husband focus on?
Well, I focus more in marketing. I am also an agent. I design the properties and more in the vision of the business. My husband focuses more in property management and also manage of all of our projects. Now we also brought my daughter on board. Sophia. She's a hybrid because I think that she focuses in marketing and also like getting those deals, but she's also learning about manage projects and youths. And now we're also coaching my little daughter, Bella, to also be part of the business.
Oh, that is so fun. And I want to ask about this for a lot of audience who's listening, right? They may have kids, and your kids are, Sophia is teenager now.
Sophia just barely turned 18 and Isabella is 13 right now.
I love that. Tell us more about how you got your kids to be involved in the business. How did that even come about?
Well, first of all, I used to say that we used to take them to our projects, but in Sophia's case, she used to hate real estate. She used to even say that she was never going to become a real estate investor, that she was never going to become a businesswoman. But one day she came to me and she's like, oh, like, I really want a phone. And I am, well, if you want a phone, well, like, earn it. Either you work for our business or you start reading books. And she got really upset with me because she told me that I was a horrible mom because her friends didn't need to earn a phone. And I just told her, well, I'm sorry, I am a horrible mom. So she started reading books. She read like 12 different books, for example, Think and Grow Rich, The Miracle Morning, The Go Giver. And I don't remember the other ones. Once she finished those books, I told her the phone is like a car needs gas, so you need to pay me a monthly payment to start using your phone, and you still have rules. And I told her, you can continue reading books. Just read one book a month and you will have your phone with rules. And then I think that changed her mind a little bit. And then when she was 14, she came to me and she's like, Mom, take me to one of those events. Take me to a real estate event. And I am like, okay, there is one in Seattle. Let's go there. And from there, she got a mentor and then she started sending letters to homeowners. And she got her first deal when she was 15. She
Wow.
negotiated. Yeah.
I love that. That is a great story. And I love your approach to parenting. That's something that my boyfriend and I discuss from time to time. We both didn't grow up with money. And so that is something that's been on our mind is what does it look like to give your kids the resources that you can provide as parents who are in business, who are already successful in real estate in business without having them a sense of entitlement and still learning how to be of service and be able to actually appreciate the value of money. So I love that you share, that you make her work for it. You got her interest in reading books and then also just attending events, right? Kind of the seeing people. And I remember meeting Sophia at the event, and she is definitely very grown for teenagers. She talked to a lot of investors who are like way ahead of her, both in age mainly. And I really love that she has this journey. Now that the family is kind of in the business together, how do you guys make sure that you guys continue to be on the same path? Whether it's investment wise, whether it's like investment thesis, or whether it's strategy, how do you continue to be aligned and make sure that everybody kind of have their own roles and not stepping into each other's role?
That's a very good question, and it can be a little bit challenging, but through time we have learned to work in harmony and just realize that I have my expertise, my husband has his expertise, and Sophia has her expertise, and Bella has her expertise also. We are different, but we work for the same vision. We have a vision as a family, but we also have goals as me, as just Marisol, because I also work as an agent. And Sophia has her own goals, Bella has her own goals. And then I think that what it has really helped us also is that once a week on Sundays we have a meeting, me and my husband, so we can talk about the business. But then we also ask the kids, hey, what's your goal for this week? What's going on in your life and how can we help each other? For example, my husband doesn't get involved in my roles only if I ask him, and I don't get involved in property management because that's not my main role. And when it comes to Sophia or Bella, I think that we're good to ask each other for help, but we know which role we play. It's funny because we all work from home, but we can be in the same living room. I can be in my computer. Bella can be doing her homework. Sophia can be doing something else when it comes to business or school. And Omar can be in the office and we can all work together.
What I love hearing about is that is not only you guys have vision and goals as a family, right? So that everybody's heading in the same direction, but individually, you guys have your own goals that you guys trying to hit. That is a part of this bigger goals and bigger vision. And I love the independence and the true sense of partnership when I hear how you describe how you guys work together as a family. You guys start flipping with the auction, continue to flip further with direct to sellers and on market properties. What are some of your focus now on the real estate investing side? And how does that play into your bigger picture of like wealth building as a whole?
When we start investing in real estate, we thought like we wanted to help people, but to be honest, we also wanted to make money, right? So we were mostly flipping, but when time we realized that flipping is great, but it felt like a job. It felt like a high paid job, but it didn't feel like we were creating wealth. So I think there was maybe 5 years ago we thought like, okay, let's start keeping more rentals. So now we focus in creating a rental portfolio, and also instead of focusing in flips, we focus more in new construction of small multifamily now, and also single family.
Nice. So now you're focusing more on new construction of single family and I think you say small multifamily
Yes.
to then hold long term.
Yes.
Interesting. Are you kind of stacking like maybe sell some, hold some, or everything just focusing on the long term rental?
So basically, when it comes to single families, we like to sell them. But when it comes to duplets, fourplets, we like to keep them just because they cash flow better.
I love that. And that's a great strategy, right? For the audience who's listening, there are many different aspects of wealth building. You hear Marisol mention cash flow, right? The flipping is essentially a very high paying job, which gives you a chunk of cash coming in. But rental give you the cash flow. The rental also give you the tax benefits, which is helpful for that long term. And I love that you're doing new construction. You guys have a lot less repair and maintenance, right? Especially if you are controlling the construction yourself, it become a very good strategy to hold long term as a part of your legacy portfolio. Are you guys still investing mainly locally to manage and kind of see the projects?
We still do. We love to invest locally. It's our thing. I know that different investors have a different strategy. And what I will recommend your audience is just know yourself and know what works for you. And every single investor goals look different, and it's okay.
Tell us a strategy that you may have used to help you grow, despite whatever the market is doing, interest rate, all that stuff. Tell us some of the things that you find has been working well for you in your market.
We have always done direct marketing, and I think that has helped. In the past, we were struggling also, like everyone, finding deals, but that's why we switched from just flips to new construction and development. Sometimes it's cool because we get like 6 lots that we can develop and work on them in the next year. So we don't buy a deal if the numbers don't work. We learn to be patient because through making mistakes, we also learn that sometimes it's better not to have a deal than to have a bad deal. They will take your time and energy.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about your funding strategy. Are you essentially self-funding a lot of this, or you have private lenders? How do you kind of structure or balance between the cash flow, that chunk of cash, and continue to have funding? Because now you guys are all full-time in real estate.
We have private money investors, and we also work with hard money lenders, and we also have our own capital. So we manage the three.
I love it. I always mention this triangle as whether you're growing or starting, right? It will always be team, deal, and capital. So you're always solving one of these pieces. And so what Marisol just said about using private lender, hard money lender, her own capital, that's a great way to continue to grow and continue to solve that money piece of the triangle as you continue to grow your project. I definitely want to have some time to switch over to your mystery question. Every episode, we have a question that was left behind by our previous guest. And your question is, what is the one thing we can all do to make the world a better place?
Be more kind to each other. But first, be kind to yourself because you cannot give what you don't have. So I think it's important to work in your own self-love. Be kind to yourself. And then if you are kind to yourself, you will be kind to others.
I love that. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. I really love your sense of like self and then team. And that is something I really want our audience to take away when you work in anything, your partnership, your team. You cannot contribute to your team if you yourself are not whole. So I really love that you shared just about how, you guys have individual goals and then your goals as a team. And then what you just mentioned about being kind to yourself, right? Have your cup full so that you can actually continue to pour into others. Love that. For every episode, we always want to ask the speaker to share a charity that they support so that audience can support that charity to thank you for your time for being here today.
We support the Seven Figure Foundation. We love to help others, serve others, and Seven Figure Foundation, we build homes in different countries,
Yeah.
and it's really rewarding to help families. They are living in really poor conditions. We are providing them a place where they can relax. And I want to think that we are giving them the faith that someone cares. And yeah.
No, I love that you shared that. We'll link that in the show notes. Definitely check out Seven Figures Foundation. Check out their videos. They do great work, like Marisol said, by giving people in less fortunate area a home or even a school. And Marisol, tell the audience how people can get in touch with you, follow your journey, and find more about what you do.
They can look me through Facebook and send me a message. I am here to help others. I love to help others. And I just want to say something to your audience. That if we came here to this country to live a better life, and I know that sometimes it can feel difficult and scary to come to a country, learn a new language, a new culture. But we should all remember why we are here and that we all have a big why and a dream. If we prosper, we can help others that they are still in our country or back home to also prosper and live a better life.
I think this is why we're all here, right? We have a sense that we are here for something bigger than ourselves. We did not just come to a new country, learn a new language, a new culture, new way of life to just exist. There's always more to give back. And I love the message that you share about giving back more than just people here, but people from back home. Marcel, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. It was a blast. And I would love to have you back with your family and kind of have your whole family share. That'd be super fun. All right, awesome. Till next episode. Bye, everyone.